Hey, I'm Tyler.
And let's start over.
Okay. Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Kenzie.
And we are Rockin' and Roamin'. We're a YouTube channel that deals with RV living, boondocking, and traveling around the USA. We just started our journey, and we just kind of want to talk to those of you who might be thinking about experiencing or pursuing this lifestyle and kind of tell you why we decided to do it, the struggles we had, the journey from idea to reality, and the things we've learned along the way. Decided to live in an RV and travel around the country, Kenzie.
Well, we were looking up ways to live cheaper, and so first we were looking at living on a small boat or a sailboat, or a small house, but then we realized that sailboats aren't cheap.
No, you have to go really old, they're hard to insure, and it's really expensive to fix them.
And same with small houses, is that it's really hard to get insurance and permit.
Yeah, the laws for where to put them are still pretty vague because insurance companies don't know what they count as, neither do cities and states. So it's hard to get one, to insure it, and then to park it somewhere.
So then, after probably 6 months to a year of researching cheaper ways to live, we just came across RVs, and it's perfect because RVs have literally everything a house has, and it's way cheaper than owning a small home or a sailboat. So we decided to go with an RV.
Thinking about living smaller is another reason that we chose to live in an RV. By living smaller, you have to have less stuff, and by having less stuff, you have to think about the things you have, and that means you can't just randomly buy stuff at the store because you don't have anywhere to put it. And also, you can't buy a whole bunch of food that you're not gonna eat because you don't have anywhere to put it. You just can't get things you don't need, and you think a lot more about the things that you do have and how much value they really bring to your life, and we really like that aspect of it.
You know, when you live in a house, you have a lot of clothes. You have clothes for every venue, every season. And same for shoes. You have a pair of shoes to match with every outfit. So that was me. I had lots of clothes, lots of shoes. Really hard for me to get rid of them because, oh, my grandma gave me these, or my mom gave me this shirt, and kind of sentimental to me. But I have to think about, when was the last time I wore this? So we've been watching a lot of minimalist videos on YouTube, and it kind of got me in the mood to just get rid of some things that I haven't worn in probably 2 years. So I got rid of tons of clothes and a lot of shoes.
And then I'm gonna have these, and that should be it. And then Kenzie's downsized to this, some shoes. Gotta have her shoes.
You can ask Tyler. When he first met me, my whole closet was stuffed full with clothes and shoes. So that was the hardest part for me. But I got rid of so much. At first I would say 70%, but now it's probably 80, 85. Oh, he almost got it. Nice. I would say probably 85% now of my clothes. I don't have very many now. It's because I didn't wear all of those clothes. So that was the hardest part for me. Tyler did also get rid of a lot, even though he didn't have as much as I did, and he doesn't have as many shoes as I did. I still take up most of the room in the RV room area with my clothes and my shoes.
Another thing that we really thought about when deciding to RV was reducing our commitment to one single area or job. When you have a house It's not really easy to sell that house, to move, to get in and out of mortgages. It's a big thing, whereas RVs, it's really easy. If you want to move, you just take your house with you. And also, it's not as much of a financial burden if you do decide to sell, because since it's a lower original price, even if you lose money, there's only so much you can lose. And so we really liked that with the RV. If we change our minds in a couple months, we can sell it, we might lose a little, make a little, but it's not this huge financial commitment like a house is, where you're really tied down once you buy a house for a few years at least.
Another reason that we really wanted to do like the RV life is when you're full-time traveling in your RV, it feels like you have more time. So like I can do more with my time.
We woke up, went outside and just walked the dog down the road because we're out in a beautiful area, and so we don't have to drive 30 minutes out of town to have a nice walk. We're living where it is, and we're able to park and camp closer to areas that we want to see. So if we want to go to a national forest, we can park outside that national forest and just go straight into it the next day, rather than when you live somewhere, you have to make a whole day trip out of it. And it can really be annoying when you want to go on hikes, but it's 3 hours to get there and you have to get everything ready, and it just becomes this big ordeal where you can't really do it casually. So we really like how we have more time to do the things we like because of our locations. We didn't just decide this and the next day go buy an RV and now we're living. You know, it really is a journey, just like buying a house or moving to another city, where you have to plan it out and take small steps, and all those small steps together take you through the path to your final destination. So I would say, like Kenzie said, we thought about sailboats, living smaller, and our first big leap was we bought a small RV. It was an 18-foot Heartland Prowler Link. We bought it brand new in 2019. It was 23 feet overall in length. The actual box was only 18 feet, and it was super tiny, but we were so in love with it. We put some money down and we just were in love with it, the whole idea. We lived in there with our 2 cats. So we lived in that one for about a year, but it was really just too small and it had no slide out, so it was really hard to actually live in it comfortably because everything was just all jumbled around.
Well, another thing is I wanted to be a yoga instructor, so yoga is becoming a big part of my life, and I needed space to do yoga, and there was no space to do yoga in there. And another thing is I started my own paparazzi business selling $5 jewelry, and that takes up space, and there was no space for that as well. So we decided that it was too small for our needs, so we needed just something a little bigger.
And Kenzie actually started the paparazzi business for the RVing lifestyle, right?
Yeah, because it's a direct sales company that, even though I have product and I need to get product, but I'm still able, I do it virtually online on Facebook. Anywhere I can go, I can do it. I can ship from anywhere. So it's something that we started in hopes that it would work with what we want to do with the RV life.
And it's been really awesome because Kenzie will be doing her packages or a video or something while we're in a beautiful location, and it's cool that she can work without having to be at work. Like, her work is wherever we want to be, and that's been really cool. And also she got her yoga instructor certification right before we left recently, so she's taken a lot of steps to make this lifestyle possible. And we had a business that we sold in Florida, then we started another one in Albuquerque and sold that, and all of it was to prepare us for this lifestyle of being on the road and get all the funds together. And also, as you can see behind us, that's not an 18-foot trailer. So what is our trailer right now?
It's about 30 feet.
Yeah, so it's about 30 feet. It's a Keystone Cruiser Crossroads Air, like 28 RKS. They have these long names, but it is something that is really cool. When was it that you started saying we needed a bigger RV?
It was like as soon as I started my yoga school, because I needed to practice yoga so I can study a little bit, and I needed my own space, and our little RV just did not have enough room to even lay down my yoga mat. So that's when I was like, I really need a bigger RV. As much as we loved our old RV, we knew we needed a big one because of the things that we were starting, paparazzi and my yoga, and we were we had 2 cats and we know we wanted to get a dog eventually. So we knew it would be a big job to go and find a new RV because we know how hard it was to find our old RV. But what is really nice that we had the other RV because we figured out what we needed and what we didn't like. It was kind of hard at first finding that very first RV, the smaller one. You know, we thought that's what we would like and we thought that's what would work for us, but turns out we needed just a little bit bigger. So we went to the our RV sales shops, and we searched and searched for this bigger RV, one that would be perfect. We walk into like hundreds and hundreds of RVs, and we went into this one RV sales place, and we were telling this one of the salesmen, oh, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for, and he goes, oh, I know just the RV for you. So he drove us in a little golf cart to this RV that he thought that was going to be perfect for us. We walked in and he was right. It was like we walked in, we were like, this is actually it. Like, he knew, and it was pretty cool how he knew just by telling him what we wanted and what we imagined. He knew exactly what was good for us. And we walked in, it was this open layout, like it has so many windows, has tons of counter space, has a really good place to have like a living area, it has a kitchen area, the bathroom was a pretty good size, and it had a really nice bedroom. Even though it's 30 feet, but it turns out to be perfect for us so far. So that is what we found in our newer RV.
So a big part about an RV is you need to be able to pull it. And we had a Toyota Tacoma that we got for Kinsey when we still lived in Albuquerque and had an apartment. And she had an older Tacoma that her dad had got for her, and they had worked on the engine together, and we had sold that one to get a '09 Tacoma that worked great. It pulled our smaller RV all the way across the country from Florida to Albuquerque, but it did not do it well, especially when we were coming up the hills. It was just pedal to the metal, and it was slowing down, and it just really wasn't good. And as much as we love that truck, you know, sometimes you have to make the hard decision to let something go so that you can get something else. So we ended up selling Kinsey's Tacoma, which she loved, and she really wasn't happy about it, so that we could have the money for a diesel truck. And it was really hard deciding on a diesel versus a gas, because diesels just don't lose value. Even the older ones are 15 to 20 grand if you want to get a nice one with 4x4, and the newer ones are 30 grand, and that's a couple years old, a work truck version. But we found a really nice GMC Sierra 2500 diesel 4x4 in Albuquerque that was a good price, and we got it and we were so happy. And then there was a couple little problems with it, which I was fine with. The dealer gave us a little bit of money off, so I was trying to fix them with her dad, and we found out it had this huge leak. The injectors were leaking, which if you don't know is a big deal on a diesel because they're like $5,000 to replace. Luckily the dealership had a really good warranty for us, and so they fixed it. It took them, I think, 2 weeks though, and we had to pay for some of the injectors just because only a couple were failing, but we just wanted the whole thing done, so we had all new injectors. So here is our new truck, and you can kind of pan it a little bit, Kinsey. Okay. And so that is our new to us truck.
As much as we loved the way our new RV looked, after living stationary for about 6 months and doing my jewelry, it became quite crowded in here. So we decided that we needed to renovate. So the dinette was kind of where I'm standing right here, and it was a big like U-shaped dinette. It was massive, and it did, with one nice thing is it did sleep a guest if we needed a guest to spend the night. But another thing is we barely used it, so that goes back to living our lives proportionately to our needs. We didn't really need that. Yes, it did have storage underneath, but we didn't even use the storage really. There was stuff under there, but it was just junk that we didn't need to have on the RV because we weren't using it. So I've been looking up on these groups I follow on Facebook, our full-time RV living groups, and a lot of them take out the dinette and put in a desk or something that's more useful to what they need. So I wanted to do the same thing because the dinette was not comfy and I couldn't sit at the desk and do my work. It was very uncomfortable. So we tore it out and we put a really nice desk with storage still. It has 4 cubbies, you know, those cube cubby holes that I put in there right here in the desk. And it's in front of the window, so I'm still able to do my work right here at the desk, and we have a nice view wherever we are. And it opened up tons of space in the center. And we added the desk as well with cubby drawers. So we took storage out, but we kept the same amount, maybe even more storage, by putting the desk and the dresser in there. And we put everything that was under the dinettes in there besides the things that we weren't using. And we also got rid of the chairs. We had 2 reclining chairs over there, and we didn't really like, they were cool, they had cup holders and everything, and they reclined, but we didn't really like them because me and Tyler could not cuddle. So I've been looking up like futons and stuff, but futons are much longer, so it would have gone way out into this space that we could have used. So we decided not to go with the futon. And then I looked up, and sofa couches are so much better because they're a sofa that turns out into like a bed and you pull it out. So that's a twin sofa couch. Super cool. It's the same size as the recliners we had in there, and me and Tyler can cuddle and we can still sleep a guest. So we did a little bit of renovation after 6 months of living in it stationary and figuring out what we needed, and it's been about 2 or 3 weeks now, and this has worked out fabulously.
So as much as we love RV living, it's not without its problems and its struggles. I would say one of the biggest struggles is obviously going to be space. You can't have very much of anything, be it clothes, food, personal items. You can't have hobbies that take lots of tools and stuff. Well, I bet you probably could, but you'd really have to work hard. So that is one thing that you do have to take into consideration. Also, we have 3 pets, and for our puppy Tacoma, he definitely needs walks all the time because he doesn't have a big house to run around in. And our cats definitely like when they get the opportunity to be in a family member's house or to look outside the windows because the RV is a small space. This is our sweet kitty girl, Lila. She is a sleepy girl who likes to sleep all day. Oh, you scared Zeppelin. I'm trying to show him.
It is kind of fun.
And this is Zeppelin. He is our big boy of the house. He's our oldest boy. And he's got crazy eyes.
My name is Tacoma, and I love the RV and how I can smell all new things in all new states all the time.
Another thing that we have discovered by living in an RV, even though we were stationary, is how people perceive RVers. You know, when I live in an RV, most people think, a trashed out old RV that looks like a piece of junk. Yeah. But that's not always the case. But that is one struggle, is how people perceive us when we say we live in an RV full time.
RV parking is definitely a big subject, especially if you're traveling. If you're stationary, it can be hard to find that spot to park your RV, but once you find it, usually you're good. For us, we looked at a whole bunch of RV parks and they were really expensive. Expensive is a relative term. To us, it seemed expensive that it was $700 a month, which is similar to an apartment in the area, to park an RV, and that didn't include utilities or anything like that. So we found a place outside of town in the mountains that was really awesome. It was only $400 a month. It didn't include utilities, but we had this huge spot the size of a mobile home spot, and we had a yard and everything, whereas a lot of the RV parks, you paid $700 a month, and your view on one side was your neighbor's dump tanks, and your view on the other side was another neighbor, and that just wasn't cool to us.
Another really difficult struggle that we are dealing with at the moment is learning to be minimalist as we can. While we were stationary, we tried our best, but we had the luxury of having a trash right in our park. We had unlimited water, we had unlimited electricity, so we didn't need to be minimalist.
We weren't forced to, so it was
we weren't-
easy to overuse.
Yeah, we weren't forced to, but now that we're living full-time on the road, we are forced to. We have only a certain amount of water we can use. We have only a certain amount of gas we can use to run the generator, and propane to heat the RV and use to cook. So this is really, we've only been doing full-time for 3 days now. I know that sounds silly, but it's true, and it's been kind of difficult, and especially with trash. We haven't figured trash out yet and how to keep less trash. So we're more concentrated on right now with the electricity and water rather than trash. I think trash is probably going to be our next thing.
Yeah.
But that is a really big struggle when you are full-time RVing if you haven't already practiced the minimalist life.
Yeah, and I thought we were pretty good. We do the quick Navy showers where you just wet yourself, turn off the water, soap, then rinse. We try not to use very much electricity. We thought we didn't use very much propane because we had been just using our propane tanks on the RV, but it was like jumping into cold water, man. It just hit us like a shockwave how much electricity and water we actually use. But one thing I think that's good is that because we have to go and fill up our water every time we run out and dump our tanks every time we run out and pay for a lot of that, as well as we have to fill up the generator. I think that's really made us more conscious. Struggle that I really think is the biggest one for most people is making money on the road. Everybody wants to travel, right? And a lot of people do it on the RV, but the biggest question is, well, how am I gonna make money, dude? Money makes the world go round, and especially when you're buying propane, gas, diesel, maintenance, you gotta afford the truck, the RV. Some people are lucky enough to buy it all outright and have it paid off, so their costs are a lot lower, but for us, we're put some money down, but we are doing payments on a lot of these things. And so that's something where I think you really have to work slow and build up to it, like Kenzie did the paparazzi. We had 2 businesses we sold and saved a lot of that money. We sold our truck. I really love motorcycles, and I sold all my motorcycles. I've sold my weight equipment. We pretty much sold everything that's not essential and saved that money. So if you guys have ever been looking forward to a meal, say you've been thinking about steak all week and you finally get steak and it's so juicy, that's how it was when we finally got to leave. So it's took about 2 years for us to get to where we in full-time travel on the road and lots of steps, but it feels so good. We left 2 days ago now on our grand adventure, our trip, whatever you want to call it, and it's been awesome. But the best part was leaving, because we wanted to leave the day after Thanksgiving, but what happened was our truck was broke. We had to get some more stuff ready. I had to sell a Jeep that we had. So there was all these things holding us back. So we didn't get to leave until about 2 weeks after we were supposed to. But once we actually did, it was just great. And now we've boondocked for 2 nights, and we'll definitely let you guys know how that is in our next video. But I'll just let you know that it was definitely worth the wait.
Action. Go.
Okay, hold Debbie, you made me feel better.
Yeah.
All right, we are here, we're ready to go. Our truck got fixed on, well, we had to pick it up on Saturday, and we didn't get to test drive it, but hopefully it is all good. So we hooked it up, we're all ready to go, everything's packed away in here. Tacoma's in the truck, now we gotta put the cats in the truck. All right, let's go.